All right. Here we go. Yet again, let me plug the joint right quick. Do most men really struggle to assert themselves with women? I mean, the answer is obviously yes. Do most men really struggle to assert themselves with women? Look, let me tell y'all something. The reason why PUA dating advice, red pill dating advice, the reason why dating advice like that is more relatable to most guys is because that dating advice is for passive guys. Choosing signal advice, looks, money, status, because it's all about drawing attention to yourself so women notice you versus you actually being the assertive initiator, right? A lot of that dating advice over there is about you waiting and taking cues from women. Passive dating advice, right? And this, look, let me say this about indirect dating advice. Indirect dating advice is for women. I said it. Indirect dating advice is for women. Okay, let me explain what I mean. If a woman was giving another woman dating advice, what they would typically tell women is don't act desperate. Don't be too aggressive. Let the man do the initiating. Let the men come up to you. Let the men show you that you're interested so you don't seem desperate. See, that's female dating advice. The problem with a lot of these guys and some of you guys is you're getting dating advice intended for women. Any dating advice where they tell you to display passive tendencies, which is choosing signals, like waiting for choosing signals is passive. Period. So any advice, and this is another thing, when guys talk about alpha advice and masculine advice, and then they tell you to wait for choosing signals, they're telling you to be passive. How can you talk about you're an alpha male? And I don't even like alpha male, beta male. I don't even like using those delineations, right? But when guys talk about that shit, right, they talk as if being indirect or being passive is part of masculinity, and it's not. Those are feminine traits, right? Do most men really struggle to assert themselves with women? So, this is what I want you guys to think about. Right, I'm gonna throw this up here. This is what I've noticed about people, men in particular, men in particular, is guys with low self-esteem are always passive, and guys with high self-esteem are always assertive. Period. There is no in between. Guys who display passive tendencies consistently, in my opinion, have low self-esteem. Guys who display assertiveness consistently have high self-esteem. See, part of the problem, and I've been saying this, part of the problem with a lot of this dating advice is is so focused on telling guys what to do to make shit happen with women, and it doesn't take into account what the guys are doing that's hindering them with women. So what I mean by that is this. For all you guys that be asking, questions in the live chats or in the live streams, you ask questions in the live chats during the live streams where you might say, what do I say to a group of women? Or how do I approach a woman and start a conversation where I'm sexually flirting? And the problem with asking those questions is every guy, 100% of them, are all passive. All those guys who ask all those questions, they're all passive guys. All of them are insecure. All of them have low self-esteem, right? And when I break this down, you'll see what I mean. So if you're insecure and you have low self-esteem and you're passive, and I'm giving you dating advice from an assertive man, right? I'm giving you advice on how to assert yourself and be assertive. So I'm literally telling you to be and to do something you've never been or did. I'm I'm giving assertive dating advice to passive men. Essentially is what I'm doing. I'm giving assertive dating advice to a bunch of passive dudes. So if I'm giving assertive dating advice, if I'm telling you how to assert yourself and you're a passive guy, you're going to be reluctant to take my advice because you're uncomfortable. But see, the best advice is the advice that makes you uncomfortable. But guys don't want to take advice that makes them uncomfortable. They want to do what women do. They want to take the path of least resistance. What's the path of least resistance? To just chill, be flexible, and follow women. Chill, be flexible, and follow women. That's the most comfortable avenue that guys take, which is why most guys don't assert themselves, which is why when people hear our advice, they say, it's absurd. What is he talking about? And see, when they look at what I'm talking about, they might say, oh, he's talking about being aggressive. No, being assertive and being aggressive are two different things. See, when you are aggressive, a lot of times your actions can be seen as brute or disrespectful. See, when you are assertive, you still respect the boundaries of others. You're just asserting yourself, right? That's all you're doing. Most men really struggle to assert themselves with women. So, we're going to talk about 5 habits of passive men. 5 habits of passive men, right? But first, we're going to do this. And if you're unable to do this, you're going to struggle with women all your life. And if you are struggling with women right now, it's because you're unable to do this. An assertive tendency refers to the confidence and willingness to express one's own thoughts, feelings, and needs directly and honestly, while also respecting the rights and opinions of others. Free will. When we talk about giving women free will, that's literally you respecting their rights and their opinions. Yeah, I can tell a woman I want to fuck, but her opinion might be, sir, you just met me. That's her opinion. That's her right to say, you just can't get in this pussy so quick, right? That's her right and her opinion, and she's allowed to express it directly and assertively to me, just like I'm expressing myself directly and assertively to her. Now, because we're on two different ends of the spectrum, it makes no sense for us to continue because we are instantly incompatible. The moment you express your desire to a woman and she doesn't reciprocate that same desire, you guys are instantly incompatible. See, PUAs, they teach you to keep going. They teach you to keep going, which is really passive aggressive, right? But most passive guys are passive aggressive, right? Again, an assertive tendency refers to the confidence and willingness to express one's own thoughts. When you guys are talking to women, are you really expressing your thoughts? No, you're not. Are you expressing your real feelings? No, you're not. Are you expressing your needs? What do you need that woman to do? What do you need her to do? Are you expressing that? Telling her, oh, I would like to take you out, that's not a need. What do you need her to do? Are you giving her explicit instructions, directions? Are you making statements? Are you expressing your needs directly and honestly? Most guys never have an honest conversation with women the very first time they meet. Did y'all know that? That includes a lot of you. Most guys never have an honest conversation the very first time they meet a woman. Because if you were, you wouldn't be indirect. If you were having honest conversations with women about what you truly desired, wanted, and needed, you wouldn't be indirect, right? So you're not even having honest conversations with women. It's not to say that you're lying. You're just not having straight up, honest, in your face, this is what I'm trying to do with you conversations. Because you're waiting on a woman. Why? Because you are passive, right? And we're going to get into this. So what are we talking about? 5 habits of passive men. Let me go back to something. I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. Let me go back to this real quick. Hold on. I want to point out something, right? There are certain PUA guys, right, that are literally talking shit about guys like myself and the gentleman from the Real Game No Theory podcast. And they talk about how us giving advice, telling men to be direct is crazy and how men should be indirect. And I need you to understand that when you're indirect, you're passive. That's what being indirect is. It's being passive. Guys, you literally have men, males, PUA types, red pill types. They are giving you dating advice that's literally set to compromise your authority as a man. They're literally giving you advice where you are compromising your own authority as a man and leading the situation with the woman. They're telling you to follow her. They're telling you be indirect, be passive, and wait on cues from her. That's not masculine dating advice. That's the same type of advice that women would give to women, right? Well, we're going to get into this. 5 habits of passive men, right? And when you listen to this, guys, a lot of this is y'all. And this is why you're struggling with women. What's the title? Do most men really struggle to assert themselves with women? 5 habits of passive men. Conflict avoidance. Number 1, conflict avoidance. That means you have a strong desire to avoid confrontation or direct disagreements. This is why guys are indirect, because they want to avoid conflict. They want to avoid saying anything that might upset or offend women. This is why guys will say, oh, if I'm talking to a chick and she comes across like she's a shy introvert, I'm going to refrain from bringing up sex. And I'm only going to bring up sex to a woman who's a little more open about her sexuality, right? They're taking cues from the woman. So what they're saying is the woman who displays more masculine tendencies of being direct with sex, that's the woman I'm going to get sexual with because I'm following her, right? Because when women are aggressive sexually, right, they're displaying masculine tendencies. So you literally have guys that will say, I'm going to assume the feminine role and follow her energy instead of assuming the masculine role and asserting myself and have her follow my energy. This is why these guys are fucking losers. All they do is give feminine dating advice. All their dating advice, because essentially you got simps and beta males using words like alpha and masculine in their rhetoric. And there's nothing masculine or alpha about none of those guys at all. 5 habits of passive men. Again, number 1, conflict avoidance. Right? And that's another reason why guys, again, they're scared to broach the topic of sex. They're scared to be sexual. So what do? They just compliment women. What do you guys hear? Almost every guy, when we ask them what they say to a woman, almost every guy gives a woman a compliment. Hey, I just found you attractive. I thought we should go out sometime. Almost every guy does that. Because what they're doing is they're tempering their words. They're kind of tiptoeing around the pussy. They're saying things that they think are acceptable to women. Instead of saying what's really, really on their mind, like an assertive man who asserts himself will do, they take the passive, indirect role, right? And that's why they lose with women, right? And guys like that, all you indirect, passive motherfuckers, y'all do not have sex appeal. It doesn't mean you can't get sex. You don't have to have sex appeal to get sex. Let me make sure you guys understand that. You don't have to have sex appeal to get sex. The problem is if you don't have sex appeal and you're getting sex, you're never getting sex on your terms. You're following the woman to one degree or another. See, when you have sex appeal and women actually gravitate to you, you actually have influence to influence that woman assertively. I need you guys to understand that, right? Number 2, right? 5 habits of passive men. Number 2, lack of self-assertion, right? Difficulty expressing one's own needs, desires, and feelings. A lot of guys suffer from that affliction. You cannot authentically and confidently and assertively express your needs, feelings, and desire to women. This is why I say a lot of you guys, when you have your verse, when you first meet women, like when you introduce yourself and that first initial conversation, a lot of you guys, you're not honest because you never truly express what you really want to do. So you're not being honest, right? Number 3, submissiveness. Every passive, indirect guy is submissive to women. All of you motherfuckers. Every single passive, indirect guy is submissive. What does that mean? A tendency to go along with others, even when it's not in your best interest. You guys do that all the time. You're dealing with women, you set up a date and you really don't want to, but you think you have to get to the pussy. You talk on the phone with women you really don't want to talk to, but you think you have to either get the pussy or to continue to have access to her sexually, right? You message back and forth throughout the day. You really don't want to, but you do it to either get to the pussy, or if you're already having sex, you do it to continue to have access to the sex. Most guys do shit reluctantly when it comes to women. That's the whole nice guy syndrome. Most guys are doing shit that are outside of themselves because they're trying to win the affection of women, right? So you submit. Okay, anytime you're waiting on choosing signals, you're submitting to the woman. Because I need you to understand what choosing signals are. Basically, you're waiting for a woman to give you permission to approach. You are submissive, right? Now, number 4, waiting for others. Every passive guy, every indirect guy is guilty of all of these things, and especially this one, waiting on others, a reluctance to initiate action. Ain't that the red pill? Ain't that these goofy ass PUAs always waiting on the cues from women? Reluctance to initiate action. And that action could also be closing the deal, setting up a sexual rendezvous, setting up a date directly, letting a woman know exactly what you have in store for her, setting her expectations. Again, do most men really struggle to assert themselves with women? Yes. 5 habits of passive men. Again, waiting on others, a reluctance to initiate action, preferring to wait for others to provide direction or take the lead. A lot of you guys, you're not bagging women, women are bagging you, right? Number 5, internalization. Number 5, internalization. 5 habits of passive men. Number 5 is internalization. What is that? Keeping thoughts and feelings hidden, even from yourself. Oh, that's a big one right there. Zag, how in the fuck can I keep my thoughts and feelings hidden from myself? I'm glad you asked. I got a perfect example. So you, and you right there, when you approach women and you're talking to women, are you telling them that you had thoughts of bending them over on your bed and that you couldn't wait to see how that ass jiggled? I mean, did you tell them that? I mean, because that's what you thought. When you first saw that woman, all you motherfuckers, when you first see these women that you approach, I know you think about fucking them. Are you expressing that? Because if you're not, internalization, keeping thoughts and feelings hidden, even from yourself. You're talking to that woman, you know you want to fuck her. That's the main reason why you're over there until she says this, I just met you. Can we at least date and get to know each other? Oh, my bad, girl. You right. So what do? You internalize your true feelings and your true thoughts, and you keep them hidden, not only from yourself, but from her. Again, internalization, keeping thoughts and feelings hidden, even from yourself, leading to a lack of self-awareness regarding emotional needs. What do I tell you guys all the time? Most men lack self-awareness. You don't even know how to get what you want. Think about that. Think about how inept and how inadequate you are as a man. This is what's so funny. This is what's so funny, right? You have guys that are good at getting to the money, but they can't get pussy that easily. You have guys that are good at getting to the bag, but when it comes to getting sex, they struggle. They struggle. Guys, 5 habits of passive men. Number 1, conflict avoidance. Number 2, lack of self-assertion. Number 3, submissiveness. All you indirect passive guys submit to women. All of you do. Waiting for others, waiting for choosing signals. You're passive. Internalization. You're not being honest about how you truly feel about that woman as far as what you really want to do with her. So not only do you conceal the truth from yourself, you conceal it from her. And you wonder why shit never goes down. Do most men really struggle to assert themselves with women? Guys, here's the thing. And I'm going to tell you right now. My dating advice, my dating advice, I'm thinking about assertive advice. Anyway, my dating advice, the dating advice that Carrie gives, that Zag gives, won't work for most of you. Because I am a dominant, assertive man who gives advice meant for dominant, assertive men. So if you are an indirect, passive guy, my advice won't work for you until you conquer your passiveness. If you cannot conquer your passiveness, my advice will never work for you. Peace.